Welcome to the Pump Rules Podcast, the show where cast and connoisseurs come to talk all things Vanderpump Rules.
Welcome, not to the show, but back to the show. But as far as listeners or viewers are concerned, welcome to the show, Christina Cocca, Cocca Macocca.
That's me. Hi.
It's great to see you again. We had such a wonderful time. 3 hours of wonderful time.
Yes.
And the video didn't record. So you know what? Sometimes the Mercury retrograde is real. That was
Gatorade.
during yeah, that's right. Mercury retrograde Gatorade. That's the new flavor. That's what Sandoval's drinking in the video behind you when the Lord smite him down.
No, somebody commented on I made just like a joking video of him falling and I put in slow-mo with like a Red Bull gives you wings sound. And then somebody said, did it turn into a White Claw when he hit the ground? And I was like, did it? And it looks like there's
Really?
it's a white. I mean, should I here?
Yeah. Let's inquiring minds got to know, and we're doing investigative journalism.
And I'm like, okay, hold on. I gotta like really.
But there's no cut.
I think it's a
there's
Red
a
Bull.
cut.
No,
Okay,
I
yeah.
think it's a Red Bull because I still see the blue top on the can.
Yes.
From
yeah,
where I'm
yeah.
looking. Okay, now that I've like really looked at it, okay, there's still a blue top. Okay, I don't think he was drinking White Claws.
No,
Okay.
and also they
False
probably
alarm.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, how is there a cut? They don't redo that kind of stuff, and how
Right.
would they?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, nope. Hold
That's
on,
the
let me
only
make sure
footage.
it's
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure it's paused on an embarrassing moment before we continue.
That's perfect. Any of those.
We'll just get him on the floor.
That's
fine.
perfect. I think that is perfect.
Also, this is like the overhead lights, so just
Okay, yeah. Well, your lighting looks good. You doing the ring light stuff, whatever?
they're ring from like the ceiling. They're not. I'm in a conference room. But it's like a cool one. It's cool. It's
no, it's a cool conference room. It's for cool people. Yeah,
It is.
cool. Yeah,
It's
this is not your
cool,
stuff. This is not your.
It's
Isn't that your
cool,
parents'
man. Like Tom, it's cool. Like Tom Sandoval's shoes and like his bowling bag purse and like his Red Bull.
Oh my God! Yes, that's right. Someone posted a photo of a garment I forgot about. I don't know. Maybe my brain was trying to protect me. Of the overcoat that has the window, the peekaboo window in the back.
Oh my God. Okay, the from the Hotel Ziggy thing.
Yes.
Somebody found it. Somebody on Reddit found it on Zara, and it's like an actual. Ever since that New York Times article came out, people are finding all of the women's like suits that he's wearing because he like admitted it in that interview. And then
and it also said, well, it's because the sizing is so. It was kind of like this is a scientific reason why I'm doing this.
Well, and the reporter was talking about like that. The fit of his blazer, like combined with his like manic personality, because she said that it barely came to his wrists. Then he looked like Heath Ledger, like in the nurse's outfit, walking like as a Joker, walking out of the hospital, in The Dark Knight. And anyway, but ever since then, people have been finding they're like all Zara suits. And I was very confused by that outfit. I was like, is that a mesh back? Is that a belt?
Yeah.
Did he do that? What is that? But it's like ladies tan cutout blazer.
Wow.
So
Zara is a place that you go into and you'll think, hey, that's a cool jacket. That's not bad. And then in the center of the room, there'll be a variety of gold, almost Sergeant Pepper jackets. And I think, who would buy those? I might know now, but and I shopped for clothes with him there once.
You went to Zara with him?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Listen, I have no issue with like Brock wearing heels. I think it's funny, but I don't have a problem with it. Like, and if it's just specifically like Brock wearing heels in the after show in the way it's like tippy tappy or whatever. But whatever. Like if Tom wants to wear like a women's blazer, like fine. But all I think of is Michael Scott being like, "Nuh-uh, this is my norm." I don't know. There's a scene in The Office where like they're like, "That's a women's jacket," and he's like, "No."
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, and it's not fitting him right either, right?
Yeah, like because it's cut differently, which apparently I didn't even know. Literally, The Office taught me that. Like, I guess the back of a men's like coat jacket is split in the middle, and the women's is split like this. I don't know,
Yes,
but
yeah,
Daryl,
split around the side or something.
yeah, Daryl was like, "That's a lady's jacket. That's a lady's jacket," and he's like, "Mm, mm." Anyway, so that's all I think of now. But
Well,
whatever, more
I
power to him. It's just like just I don't. It's in combination with everything else that he's doing. Like
yes,
that aloe hat is so big. I've never seen, he's not a known outfit repeater. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
all of a
true.
sudden, he's only wearing this aloe hat over and over. Like that's out of character for him. What?
This is the hat that is obscuring his eyes during the James
Mm-hmm.
confrontation. Yeah, it's when James says, "Why don't you say that to my face?" I'm wondering if he actually did say it to his face. I mean, maybe literally, but it doesn't appear that his face, like his eyes, are not making eye contact. So I don't
It,
know what the jury would say.
well, it's Tom's favorite way of saying something about someone, which is like to nowhere into the air. James was
Yeah.
walking away and he's like, "Yo, go push some buttons on your laptop." Like, and it's the same. I mean, yeah, you pulled your IUD out the same day Stassi said she was pregnant, and oh yeah, you know, oh go fucking up. Yeah, she was wearing a t-shirt. Like his most vulgar, offensive things, he just like says to nowhere, and
Into his
so
body mic. He says it into his body mic. He's like,
oh,
yeah,
that's a
Joe
good point.
Biden.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that.
I
You
just thought
know,
of it now.
Dana Wilkie. Did you know 25,000?
Wait.
Did you know
Oh, wait, wait,
she?
wait, wait. The one she was on Housewives. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
25,000 sunglasses. Yeah, I'm from
Yes.
Massachusetts, so she was a particular point of interest for me and my mom, who got me hooked into the Bravoverse. Because she's what town? I can't remember what town she's from, but we were
It was
like,
Bev.
she's from where?
Oh, I don't. She was on Beverly Hills for like a season,
Yeah,
but
and she's from Massachusetts.
she doesn't have anything to do with this. It's just she's brought it to
Yes, she
my
does.
attention,
Yes, she does.
which is she was making this observation about like from the after the beach day. You know how men, like, I don't know why they don't have it on this way on everybody. The women, they make wear mic packs and like bikinis, and then the men get like a necklace, like a black necklace for their microphone.
Oh, I didn't notice
It
that.
it's like a black, just looks like a black, like braided rope necklace with like a circle on it, and it's their
Right.
mic.
Okay. Yeah.
And she was like, "No, but these were made of hair." And I was like, "What?" I think it's just their microphone. And then I went
Wow.
back and she was like, "No, they're wearing it in some scenes, and other scenes are not wearing it." And like, I have worked on shows, and that does not look like her microphone. And I went back and looked, and it does look, the texture is weird. And I don't know if he's wearing hair necklaces, but that's another theory out there. I just thought you should know.
I think, and I appreciate that. Yes, it is further enriching my mind and my life and my spiritual state. I did notice that. Well, wait, I agree with you completely. The context makes everything in terms of goofing on an outfit because it's really
Mhm.
in concert with everything, much like Sheena's crop top wedding dress back in the
Mm.
day.
Mhm.
Sandoval talking about it in the
God
New York
bless
Times
Aunt D.
article.
Homemade Aunt D. Aunt
Oh
D.
yeah, see, that's right. Homemade. It wasn't from Zara. By the way, he gave me a jacket that I wore prominently for a long time. That was from
I
Zara.
have a lot of clothes from Zara. I
Yeah.
mean, they make cute clothes. Like, what do you, I mean, no hate. It's
No.
just funny.
No, it's super funny. It's super, especially going through the catalog because, as you said, he's not an outfit repeater, so he tends to buy a season worth of stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
he's not really a hair repeater either, most of the
I
time.
mean, yeah, I didn't even realize that till I said it to you, which was like, he's wearing this hat constantly. And, like, he would never, I can't imagine any prior season him just, like, always wearing the same hat. Like, remember when Schwartz's brothers, when the triplets, not for the wedding, but it was a
Yeah.
different time, when they came to visit, and I'll never forget this scene because it just made me feel, like, so, like, cringe. Well, just because, like, I can see what he was performing for the camera, which was that they were walking, like, down some alley or sidewalk or something in Hollywood, and Sandoval said to them, like, "Welcome to Hollywood." And I was like, "Oh, be quiet."
Yeah.
But for that trip, he bought them like new underwear and shoes and pants and like 7 different hats and all this stuff where it's like, sir, in what world are you wearing this aloe hat over and over? I just can't see it. And I
Well,
live near, I was just going to say, I live
no,
near
go
an
ahead.
aloe, and I was running an errand the other day, and I was like, I've never been in there. I don't even know really what they sell. I don't even know what brand aloe is. Yoga stuff, like athleisure, I think. So, no offense. No offense. It's just not, I don't know. And I walked by it, and I just like was posting on Instagram, like, you guys, should I go in and like get a white hat and try to be an
Well,
influencer?
I
But
don't
I
know
didn't.
if
I
you
didn't go
brought
in.
so Christina, quite honestly, if you bought a replica hat, you might run into some of the difficulties that I have in the last couple weeks.
A replica hat. Like what?
Well, the joking around with the Charles McMansion shirt got me. I think that was the final straw. Got me unfollowed by lovely Ariana,
Really?
who I'm still Team
Oh,
Ariana.
oh yeah. Oh, you told me that last time. The time that's a ghost to the audience, but I remember
Yes,
you.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was,
exactly,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, look, I went through the evidence later. I'm wearing his not just a Tom Tom shirt, but the sparkles that matches the sweatshirt, the infamous Rocky sweatshirt. It's actually his from Pride. So there's that. Then there's the photo at the fashion
You know,
show with me, Schwartz, Sophia, and Victoria. So I think and then the bulletin from Jax's. So I think all of that gave the impression, which I understand. I was the Ariana in a similar situation, which she knows about, she was aware of, and they were all front row center for it. So
yeah.
if I had seen a similar photo of that sort of thing,
Yeah.
maybe I'd kind of have an issue too. So hey,
But I will say the Tom Tom Pride merch, man, that was cute. Like, that was, if I had access to that glitter rainbow, like that was cute. That was a cute out, like whatever. I never looked up. I'm wearing band merch right now. Just live in merch for everything.
oh no, I
Um,
don't do that at all. It's a Phantom of the Paradise shirt. I'm like,
yeah, I just love, I don't know. Well, also PSA, like if you go see bands and whatever, like merch is like one of the best ways to directly support them.
yeah,
Um,
because sometimes it's tax free, by the way.
oh, well, anyway,
No, it
but
is. Whitesnake at the height of their popularity. This is told to me by Tawny
White
Katane,
Snake,
rest in
White
peace.
Snake.
They were making, David Coverdale, because everyone else was hired hands,
Right.
making $500,000 a week in untaxed, untraceable income.
Oh, you mean, okay, tax free for them. I
Yeah,
was
because
like,
the merch,
well,
no,
and I think it's yeah.
if they paid by
Well,
cash. Anyway,
whatever works for them.
yeah.
Anyway, all I was saying that is to preface that I've never looked up any like Tom Tom merch or whatever, and I was telling you earlier, like I've almost bought some stuff that I thought was really cute with a lightning bolt on it recently, and I was like, can't do that. I don't think I can do that.
I know. I've had to
Christine,
reform my text habits. I like to use a lightning bolt instead of an exclamation or whatever, and I have to,
mm,
for any Vanderpump related stuff now, use the swoopy star because I didn't even realize that I messaged someone and they said, "Oh, that has some evil origins," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Totally not
oh,
connecting to the thing that we talk about every week, but
don't get me started on people thinking things are evil. I have a whole, well, it's like about this guy who was like Taylor Swift's a witch, and then yeah, I decided that that is like the easiest way to figure out if like you should or should not keep seeing someone. If you just ask, you ask smash or pass Taylor Swift, which I would never support relegating her to being objectified that way. But if you ask that question and their answer is pass, and you say why, it comes out. All their demons come out. He was like, well, first of all, she's a witch. And I was like, oh, really? You think she's a witch? And then after that, it just went absolutely insane. He was talking about Trump. He was talking about devil, Satan, Sam's
oh god.
MTV. Like it just was, it really unraveled quickly. But I was like, actually, one of the times I saw Ariana in Chicago, the final show, I think, there was somebody outside who recognized me because she followed me, and she was like, she was there with her boyfriend. She was like, I asked him, I saw your Taylor Swift video, and I asked him smash or pass, but he said smash, and I was like, yeah, good for you, man. You passed the test. Anyway,
if it's a pass, it has to be for like a legitimate reason, like something like I just don't like blondes or something like something like that. Like
just and there's a million reasons, like, oh, she's just not my type, or I'm too much older than her. I'm too much older than her. Or she's too young for me. Totally fine. Or she's a witch,
or she's evil. There you go. That's a great litmus test especially for a first date. Hopefully, if you're on the fourth or fifth, maybe you don't want to know. I also would say, kind of objectively, smash would be the right answer.
Well, yeah. I mean, anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. So do I. That's why we're going to be on here for 5 hours today. Speaking of outfits, something very interesting about the repeat outfit, it commingles with something I noted, that it seems that when the floral shirts come out, so does Bad Sandoval.
Oh my God. When he walked in he was wearing it, I guess, at the restaurant also, but I specifically noticed it when he walked into James's house.
Yeah.
He looked like Aviva Drescher's father, and I know you don't watch Housewives. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but
I know who Aviva is, but I don't know the father.
Oh my God. Aviva's dad is like the worst person to ever come on Bravo. He's like this really tan, leathery, like sexually inappropriate old man, like who would just like say the most inappropriate, gross, disgusting things to the other housewives, and like stick his tongue out, and like it was just he's awful. And I was trying to find a picture of him to like compare them. Like corporate wants you to see the difference between these pictures. They're the same picture, but I couldn't find him in like I swear I've seen him on the show in like a Hawaiian shirt, but I couldn't find one. So I haven't posted it yet, but maybe I will. He's just like the grossest old man. No offense. No offense.
No offense. No. We don't say anything.
But he looked just like he looked just like. Well, I was like, why is Aviva's dad at this party? Like, what are you wearing?
I know there was a preview for so there's a kerfuffle happening coming up, but I also just sort of saw the florals, and not on Schwartz. That's fine. He's still going to be Schwartz. But I thought, here we go, because there were also that floral shirt was also paired with those sort of taupe pants.
The white they were like white wide leg.
Okay,
pants.
They're white. They're white.
I mean,
Labor Day.
What are you doing? Like, what are you? It doesn't matter when it is. Like, what are you doing? Like, and they're baggy, and then he has the shoes. Listen, I wear weird stuff all the time. I think it's just with him, it's like, just nothing feels authentic anymore,
I used to wear quite a bit of floral shirts. I'm going to get some more, but I needed to change out the thing. But I still like them, and still like wearing them open collar. But there's a bit of a taint on them. Not quite as much as white nails, but I never wore those, folks. I just want to show for the record, for the judge okay, that I want to have replaced on this case, because I think that there's a prejudice. Have you read about this?
No, but here's Aviva Drescher's father.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
He's so just like some old man, like just like it's not focusing, but whatever.
Oh, he's kind of like leathery. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very tan and, Miami, whatever. Anyway, go ahead. The judge. Oh, you're not going to talk about Harvey, are you?
No, God, no. Something much worse.
Okay, that's why I didn't say his last name, because I was like, I don't know.
No. You're talking about that imaginary rabbit that Jimmy Stewart dealt with in that movie from the 40s. And people could imagine that it is real. Look it up. Just Google Harvey movie, Jimmy Stewart. So, no, the judge in the Rachel sues Ariana and Tom case.
Yeah.
His lawyer wants the judge replaced because of prejudice, and no one can figure out yet what that is. Who knows? But I liked what Kyle Chan said about all this on Kristen and Luke's podcast, where he basically just ripped into Rachel and said, listen, whatever dollars you get from this, the karma of you suing Ariana, the person you did all this to, is so bad. You're going to bring so much bad onto yourself. And Yeah, I like that. I like that, Kyle
I
Chan.
Yeah, I mean, and Kyle Chan, up until pretty much that point, has has for anyone who doesn't know him, I mean, I don't know him. But just the perception of him pretty much up until that point was like, you're just a Sandoval, like, sympathizer and apologist and whatever. Cause he's like the only one except for Jason, the drummer, and Billy Lee, who's like his friend who's on the show, like in support of him. And he's been on a bunch of his podcasts and stuff. But like when he said, when he spoke to Kristen on that podcast, like a lot of the stuff he said, I was like, that man's making sense. Like, and I don't, I think he just, even when, okay, he was on Tom Sandoval's first, like, Everybody Loves Tom podcast episode. He was like the first guest.
Yeah.
And even then he was like, he was still, he was there in support of Tom, but the things he was saying were pretty like even keeled. He was like, well, you do this and you feel this and they need to do what's right for them. And so he's always been pretty like, reasonable. But I
Yeah.
just, the stuff he was saying on there, which I don't have in front of me, but it was extra reasonable. It was like, I don't, has he said any of that to Tom? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. See, I haven't really listened to a lot of Sandoval's podcast, but
Oh, I mean, again, well, we've already talked about Vanderpod recaps. I just read them there and then I
oh
try to
yes,
figure
shout
it
out to
out.
Vanderpod recaps. Maybe that's
Mhm.
where. Yeah, no, because I do listen to Kristen's podcast, so I forget sometimes if I read it or if I listen to it, because
Mhm.
that's one I listen to, but not every episode. Sometimes it's just
Mhm.
too much, as we discussed in that episode that no one will ever hear. The redacted. We'll say the redacted episode because apparently, in line with that, Rachel's recent podcast had some parts removed before broadcast because they were too touchy about certain allegations she may or
Mhm.
may not be making against someone
Yeah.
that may or may not be on the show.
Yeah. I yeah, I have a hard time with that only because, well, not only because, I mean, again, like I worked in news for a long time. There's set a long list of protocols that you have to follow, and anybody's accused of anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, the number one thing usually that you need to get at the end of the day is like somebody directly saying something about someone by name, and nobody's will do that, and or in a specific way. And so I'm just, all I will do about that subject is explain where I'm coming from with it and all the things that I consider, and then like that's all I can say.
No, I mean that's more than legitimate. I mean again, it's coming from the news reportage precepts and ethics that
Mhm.
you so wonderfully exemplify in the work that you do, the Lord's work. But I'm with you because also like it's similar to when Lala says, "Well, I got something I could say, but you wouldn't like it," and all because when people do a lot of huffing and puffing about what they might be saying at some
Yeah.
point, they kind of it's kind of like the thing. Hey, coming up soon. Big announcement.
I
Big
mean,
announcement.
it's like every edit of every trailer of every Bravo show is like, still to come on this season. And it's like the craziest stuff you've ever seen. But it's just edited out of context or whatever. Like, I just can't. I'm not about that. But I understand why. I mean, even in the sorry, let me finish the sentence. I
Nope.
understand why
That's
I understand why networks do that. Um eh, eh, in
same, but I hate
the
it. I hate it too. I hate it.
yeah, like in the mid-season trailer for
Yeah.
Vanderpump, for
Yeah.
example, they have these scenes. There's one in particular where Sheena in this preview is telling Brock, like, you're not my forever, or something like that. And I'm like, there's no way that she says that to his, like, she's either quoting somebody or she's speaking in a hypothetical
Yeah.
or something. And it looked like it was in the scene that we saw this week where they were at that weirdo restaurant that
Oh,
like
Barton
makes
G. Yeah,
Barton G.
a 10-minute walk from here.
Yeah, like where they make, I just remember it from Roni. Like there was on Housewives of New York when like Bethany was like losing her shit at Luann and was like, "Life is not a cabaret," like that big fight. That is the restaurant they were at because they ordered lobster Pop-Tarts and they came in like an entire toaster oven that was like the
Oh
size of
my
their head.
God.
Anyway, so then I was like, "What place is that?" And I go, "Bartong." Bartong? I had to look it up. And I was like, "Oh, Barton G, you idiot." Anyway,
Well, Bar
when they
Tong would make sense. You're in New York.
it
That's like a
look
very New
wait,
York kind of, yeah.
no, I mean, no, I for the life of me, I couldn't remember the name of it. And then I was like, Bartong. And then I Googled it. And I was like, oh yeah, Barton G. Now it's all making sense. But anyway, in that mid-season trailer in that scene, it looked like that's where they were. And then
Yeah.
it didn't air. And there's a lot of stuff that's in trailers that doesn't air, but I don't know what that's about. I still don't believe that she like in earnest was saying that to him about her own thoughts, but I don't
No,
know.
I don't think so either. I'm with you. I think it's something that was taken out of context just
Mm.
to add some spice. But meanwhile, the funny thing about the trailers, we're going to be watching the show. We're watching the show and then watching the show again and then taping shows about the show. So
And
this
then I'm
is,
going in scene by scene hitting pause to see if
yes,
it's a Red Bull can or not. Like,
we're watching it like it's the
woo!
Zapruder film. You know what I mean? We don't need any more encouragement to keep watching the show. I spoke to someone I know in Iceland today who said, "Oh, my friend in LA, they sent me a picture from me at the Jax's wedding. Actually, thankfully, memorializing a black and white floral print that I had that as soon as I returned to New York, where I was staying at the time, promptly blew the armpit out. You know that when that happens and you go, this thing's fucked? I think it was from Zara. No, H&M, one of the two. Anyway, so it's a great shot. And they
Checks
said,
out.
oh, they were like, I just got into the show. My friend got me hooked on it and I'm binge watching and look what popped up. And I was like, yeah, well, you know, and I told her the deal. But what was I going to say? I completely forgot. We were talking about
Misleading edits and you don't need encouragement to watch a show because we're gonna
yes,
be
right.
watching it.
Because she's binging it. She's new to it. She's
Mhm.
she's on season 8 already. You know,
Oh,
and I'm sure you have lots of friends who weren't watching the show or poo-pooed it when you suggested it to them.
mhm.
And then Scandoval happens and suddenly they're like new experts.
And I'm like, hold on. Or I mean, it's basically just what everybody yells at other people about on Reddit when they're like the subject line of the post will be like, Ariana's mean. And then you see in the text, it'll be like, first time watcher here. I'm only on season 3. And you're like, babe, not here. Not
Not
now.
here. This is not, or like not here. Like make another group, be like First Timers Club. And by the way, with that, I'd like to add that I'm so in favor of people discovering at anything at any time.
Yeah.
But the confident things, people actually said stuff to me, and I was like, no, actually, that's not true. Well, no. And I said, no, I was there, or like, you know, like some version of that. Like, no, that is not true. It did not happen. Like that kind of thing.
It's very I think we talked about this last time in the
The
what was
redacted
it?
forbidden episode.
Redacted, yeah, the redacted. But I was talking about I said something about Alex Baskin and like the reason he triggers me because watching him speak like it takes me back to like men
Oh
in
yeah,
corporate
sure.
media companies or whatever. They all look like him and talk like him. Whatever. Not all of them, just whatever. I just get triggered by him. And you know, there's this phenomenon where me, a woman, you don't strike me as this kind of person to do this. So I'm gonna, but
Thank you
like,
very much. Thank you,
sure.
because I certainly can't defend the folks that you're talking about.
Well,
I
no,
have a
just like
feeling about what you're going to say, and please
we
continue.
just, yeah, it'll literally just be like, I'll say something. Okay, I remember, I mean, I can give you specifics, but I don't, like, I'll say something that I've watched and paid attention to and know and studied, right? And then the straight white man in my story will be like, oh, well, here's what I think, but I haven't watched any of it. And I'll be like,
Oh my
well,
God.
okay. And then they'll be like, well, but what about da da da? And here's why you're wrong. I'm like, you asked me my opinion, knowing like the reason that you asked for my opinion is because I'm informed. And then this literally happened to me. This isn't a hypothetical. It was a guy
No,
that I
no,
was like,
it had the ring of truth from the moment you started saying, "I hate when." Yeah.
oh, it was about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and I have been watching every single day in court. I was watching all of it, and he didn't watch any of it. And he was like, "So what are your thoughts on da da da?" And I was like, "Well, XYZ." And he was like, and I was like, "Okay, but you just asked me." And he's like, "Nah." I'm like, I don't know. What do you want? Like,
The
so
impossible trap.
listen, no, I shouldn't talk to you anymore in a recorded format because we're just going to go all in all the directions. I mean, hopefully people like it. That's fine.
Well, I hope so too. Well, I mean, look, people love your stories and stuff, and my content and your content together. It's like Reese's or something. Two great tastes that go great together. That's what I think.
Or Pringles.
Yes, that's right. You can't have just one, right?
The fun don't stop.
I need to ask you. So in the top of my notes, I made little scattershot notes.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like they're the typed equivalent of when you're just writing down, corporate meetings, for instance, where they go, well, you're going to want to take notes on this, which never works for me. It then it's a whole performance of everyone going, I'm taking notes, assiduously taking notes, so they can go, you're taking notes. That's good because I told you to. That's all that is. It never helps anyone. It will, if it's so important, give us a fucking PDF. But
there's a lot of performing it.
Performing it. Everything is theater. All the world is a stage. But what I want to know about what's on the stage is because I wrote this note down. I don't know what it means anymore and I didn't have time to check the first 5 minutes of the episode. I wrote, first off, the Season of Love tour. Is that the Most Extras tour? What is the Season of Love tour?
Oh, I don't see. Yeah, I didn't even. I guess I heard it and I was like, what? But I didn't clock it closely. And I say what, like in his voice, like, what?
What?
But I went, okay.
Yeah, nice one. Like Season of Love, like you're not even watching the show.
I go to all of these people's things, okay? For the culture. I do it for the people. Okay? If I have to suffer, you have to suffer. And if I'm happy, I want you to also have joy from my happy. Like it goes both ways. So I went to go see Chicago. I'm here to report back because it's illegal to take video in there, but I would if I could. But last year I went to one of Sandoval's shows and it was like right after the stuff,
Oh yeah.
And I live streamed the entire thing. Like I just went to be like, let's just go. But I'm not there being like, Teddy Mariana, fuck you. Like I would never do that. I would never like go up to these people's faces and like fuck up their livelihood or whatever.
Yeah.
So I went just to like, document whatever. And it was a shit. It was one of the it was one of the most uncomfortable concerts I've ever been to. He was singing Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon shirtless, laying down on the stage, like midway through the show where it was like,
wow.
Are you there has to be like sticky glue like substances on the stage by then. Like, what do you do? And then he was like rapping Outcast, like the hardest to rap.
No.
Bombs
what?
Over Baghdad.
No,
he was like,
no. What are you?
Like the fastest Outcast song. It was a fucking disaster, dude. And he had not even maybe to him it was successful. He has an iPad right next to his microphone stand that clearly he's reading lyrics off of. Like when he forgets one randomly, he'll go over to, I still have the video. And then one of the bartenders at the place didn't know, like he didn't know the lore.
Yeah.
And we were like, do you know why people are here? Like, do you know who he is? And his name was Samuel. And I went with these two sisters who run an Instagram account called Countess Kush. And so they met me there. But anyway, so the Countess Kush sisters, follow them. So we were just like talking to this bartender, Samuel, and we were like, you don't know you don't know what Sandoval is? So we told him, and he was like, for 7 months after 9 years. That's disgusting. And then he goes, and his band isn't even good. And I was like, yeah, Samuel. And then there's one video I took where Sandoval was just like taking I think he was about to try to start singing Queen or something, or Journey, but his hair looked like his hair, all I can think of is Biodome. Like, it just was like, the movie it just was like, and he just looked nuts. And I have all these, I should reshare them.
Yes.
But
will you send
why
me,
am I talking about this? I literally forgot why I started talking about I'll go to these events to like support these people, whatever. So I went to one of his seasonal love tour. Yes, thank you. So I don't remember if it was called that, but I do remember that it absolutely was not sold out. And they kept saying that it was sold out. And when I walked in, like, the floor was crowded, but there's seats in that theater. And I've been there more than one time, and I know what it looks like when it's sold out, because all the floor is full and all the seats are taken.
Yeah.
Because it's like a half
theater. Because that's what it means when it's sold out.
There's no more seats.
There's no more people they can get in there.
And it looked like a movie matinee. Like, it was not sold out. But it was weird because the venue was also saying it was sold out. So then I was like, everybody's in on this.
Yeah.
No, I don't trust anybody. But yeah, I don't know what the Season of Love thing. Maybe that's his next tour.
Maybe it is, because I might have been on Instagram right before turning the show on, because all the rest of the little scrap notes I have make sense. And so with that, let's get into the recent episode, even though this is all fabulous content. And of course, this is not coming out the day after the episode, but we're getting back into the swing of things with the schedule on the Pump Rules podcast. Lots of exciting things to come in the off season, if you will. Yeah, it's gonna continue all summer long, and then when the next season comes.
When the next season of Love starts?
Well, it's always the season of love on Pump Rules podcast. But a question before we begin, even though I know I'm tempting my fate with myself for derailing us, but do you think Ariana's going to come back? Because I saw something about at the book talk that someone asked, and she said, well, I'll have to think about what would be best for my... And now I forget the rest of the line, but you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah. At the LA Times Festival of Books. And I remember the interviewer, because I was recapping it or whatever, and there's a whole Spice Girls thing. And anyway,
wait, was it available to watch, or is it online?
No, I found videos from people who went. Like, I was like really looking for them. There's not like
journalist.
Yeah. There's not like...
One small thing before I forget, the thing that you were saying about going and doing the boots on the ground reportage, I feel the same way. I'm going. I'm not saying this or that, or if I do, maybe later. But right now, I am just reporting, like with Jeremy. Hey, what's going on? I just saw something. That's it. You know what I mean? And the reporting stuff too. Even like Brock's thing, I paired it with the context I wanted to mention. It's not the outfit. It was that we'd just been seeing him tell women how to behave and what to say. And I said, sir, you cannot do that. And then, or you can't wear this and do that. You have to pick one or the other. That's my feeling.
I mean, I will say, at least in this most recent after show, which I need to watch again, it takes me a couple of viewings of the after show to like absorb it. But I do recall that Brock addressed his full outfit, and he was like, I mean, I have this lace top and then this tank top, and I bought it from here. Like, and he like talked about his outfit, which I need to go back and rewatch it. But anyway.
I have to as well. I had the same thing. It was on, and I was like, I think I need to set up for
I
something.
was like, like I just he's talking about his outfit, and then like I know I'll come back to it. But
I was like, I have an appointment. I have to put the dishes out. Oh, well, I'll turn it up. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Knowing I'll rewatch it. Yeah. And then
it'll 8 times. But the Festival of Books was the interviewer asked her something like, does being on Vanderpump Rules benefit you anymore?
Yeah.
And then that I don't remember if she specifically said like, what about if they're season 12 or whatever? But I think
you're right. That's exactly that's how they phrased the question.
Yeah, and she just was like, Ariana's answer was sort of, if it makes sense for me, I mean, long story TLDR, like if it makes sense for me at the time and it's what's good for me at the time, then I'll make that decision at the time, kind of thing, which, and my sort of way of, because I made a video like sort of summarizing whatever I had access to from that day because there wasn't a lot of video from it, was just like, who in their right mind would say, yeah, I'm not coming back. No, it's not good for me anymore. Nobody on any of these shows would ever say that. And again,
No.
she is always consistently excellent in these interviews. Like I don't know if she had training or if she's just like that composed and smart in terms of, I know she's obviously composed and smart, like, but I mean specifically with like baiting questions,
Yeah.
she always answers them in a way that does not like reflect poorly on her or trap her into or put her in a corner or put her against a wall or whatever the saying. Doesn't put baby in a corner ever.
I was
And
just
so
I was just thinking, I was like, when is a
yeah.
good time to
Yeah.
interject there? Thank you for doing it for me. Yeah.
My favorite movie. But she's, again, I don't know if she was like, I don't want to say coached because that's a
No, I
thing.
don't think it's coached. You want to
No,
know what I
not
think?
by a media professional, but I also think she just like has more common sense than other people. She's like, I'm a professional. I'm
Yeah.
on this show. And even if I don't want to be on the show, I'm not going to say into a microphone on a public platform, I don't want to be on this show. It's great income. It's great
Yeah.
exposure. Like, so I think especially with her new house now that she has, I think
Yes.
that there is a world where she would be able to navigate being on the show without having to deal with Tom directly as much. Like, and I would love to see more about her life and her new opportunities and her adjusting to all of that attention. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are like, I hope this is her last season. And there was a
I don't
point,
understand.
there was a point, a small point in time where I was like, yeah, me too. But I changed my mind the next day.
Well, there was one. Go ahead.
Go
No,
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, there
It
was
just
one.
was.
Go. You go ahead. You go ahead. That's what I'm going to call the episode. You go ahead.
Okay. It only was because of, I think, just the awkward dynamics for portions of this season that were like, where do you even go from here? But that was like when the first couple episodes were on and they were, no, they were saying things like, well, Ariana's so successful, but they wouldn't say what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
finally, for example, Dancing with the Stars. I was like, why the fuck don't they just say she's on Dancing with the Stars? And so then obviously we all know Dancing with the Stars is a very important plot point. But so now they're like saying these podcasts and Dancing with the Stars and like, because before in the first couple episodes, I was like, y'all are gonna have to talk about stuff that's not on this show, or else it's not gonna make any sense. So now that they've done that, I think there's a much more like reasonable. It's easier to imagine a path forward, I guess, if they keep doing that.
Agreed, because the only thing that would keep them from doing that is to try to creep back behind the fourth wall, which thankfully was grounded to dust. And I remember thinking, and I've said this a million times, probably since back season 3 or season 4. Even then I was like, they got to stop pretending that they work at this fucking restaurant.
It's right. It's like, okay, then they all started moving. Now Sheena's working at the restaurant still. Are you kidding me? Like,
I mean,
she's the only one.
Yeah. And now, but with that, there was a touch in this episode of feeling like the producers were desperately trying to pull everyone back behind the fourth wall and then spackle it together somehow. Because Jax, ex-Sir employee, yes, very funny, but do we need to see that lower third card again later on? Which, of course, I always have to mention Kristen Doty, Tom's ex-girlfriend or whatever it was during Sandoval episode. As I posted,
Is that what it said?
Is that Tom's ex-girlfriend. Yeah, the least necessary lower third card of all time.
Well, and go ahead.
No, I mean, maybe because of new people watching, but whatever, fuck them. The But okay, so the main thing is the card is funny. The ex, right, exactly. The ex or employee is funny,
Mhm.
but here's what's not cute. Here's not what's cute. But so then the premise is that Jax wants to be at Sir. Jax wants to do this brunch, and also Lisa doesn't know anything
I
about
mean,
it.
that was insane. Like that was like I had no idea you were coming. Like, why are you even here talking to me? I'm like, because it was scheduled. Because it was
Yes.
scheduled, Lisa. Like, what? Do you think we're 12? Like, I don't understand some of these things. And also, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you know about this. Um,
well,
just I don't know
actually, well,
if you
actually,
really if you by the way, Taylor, she's a witch.
yeah, actually, do you know that? Yeah, she's a witch. Yeah, and like she actually has Jack Antonoff like under a spell. Yeah, did you know
I
that?
can't. Okay. Look. Well, I
Now
okay.
that's just an impression. See, that's in the same
No, I know,
category
I know,
as
I
me,
know, I know,
as
I
me,
know.
but as me wearing a Charles McMansion shirt because it's deliberate because it's deliberate disrespect while I'm wearing his shirt talking shit about him. So anyway,
Well, all I was gonna say is that in the Vanderpump Valley crossover night event, for whatever reason, they completely delete and okay, let me be more specific. Bravo removed several minutes of the actual crossover when they put it on Peacock and streaming and the Bravo app and whatever the next day. So unless you caught it live, which
yes.
I did and I recorded it and I posted it because I was like, what happened just now? When I looked at it the next day, they took it all out and it was very, fourth wall breaking. It was like
Yeah, it
Jack
was
saying,
extremely. Yeah.
I was fired, I had the best job in my life on Vanderpump Rules, and it showed him in front of a green screen, walking over to a thing. Like it was very compelling television. And for them to cut it out, it was like what? And then it cuts from him yelling at Tom to Kristen Doty being like the concrete jungle of Los Angeles.
Wait, so they even
It's,
kept it so it flows one into the next, but they removed that? That is one of the
no,
dumbest
it
things I've
didn't.
ever heard of.
It didn't flow. It was like the end of the
Oh, oh,
Vanderpump
oh.
episode was like Jack screaming at Tom,
Yeah.
and then it was over. And then the first Valley episode was just that
Oh, the
narration
next
from
thing on
Kristen.
the yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
there
yeah.
wasn't any like rollover, but they kept that with like, because I remember going back to watch when it was called Summer House Rules, when they did the
Yes.
Vanderpump into Summer House thing. Like that's like an 70-minute episode because they left the
Yeah.
whole thing in there. So I don't, it's
As they
just
should.
weird.
No, it's
Well,
super
yeah.
weird. It's super weird, and also now, it's funny because I was there the night that Jax had the outburst that then precluded his scheduled appearance on this show.
Schedule.
But more news about that to
Oh,
come.
the canceled brunch thing
No, 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 no. When
that
he
they
made
talked
the
about.
outburst, and when he made the outburst that was all over social media, that at Jax's Studio
Oh,
City,
it's scripted. It shows. Whoa. Yeah, that one.
I mean, he was pissed off about something. He won't specify what, but I'm not saying anything about scripted. But like that was heavily processed. That cheese was heavily processed. There was no need for it.
Hmm.
All they had to say was, "Hey, Jax is hosting a brunch with me." That's it.
Hmm.
And then have Lisa be like, we haven't seen each other, and Jax saying, you didn't even check in on us when the baby. That's
Yeah.
fine. Always that would have been fine. We don't need the other
Yeah.
bullshit. Yeah.
Well, and I honestly, at that point, I think Lisa was like, Jax wasn't even the one who was like trying to pretend that he wasn't on a show. Like it was
Yeah.
like
No.
Lisa's just like out of touch with the time. I'm sorry. No, sounds ageist, but she's like, she literally can't. I don't. It was just weird, but they still chose to edit that and air it and cut it and put it in the final thing. And, so it's like at the end, it's not all just like, oh, well, Lisa said this and it was weird. There's like a million paths, there's a million of checkpoints that it
Yes.
goes through
Yeah.
for it
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
approved. So it's like, what do y'all, I mean, and that's like my biggest beef really with anything with Bravo, with Bethany interviewing Raquel, with don't miss the last 5 minutes of the reunion because you'll never guess. And like those things that's my biggest beef is like the
Yeah.
audience isn't dumb. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Get some
Yeah.
help.
Also, if they looked at like trends on YouTube with like 3.5 hour shows and people in the millions watching them, guys, they're folks. It's probably guys. It's got to be guys. We calm down. Your expert opinions on how to retain the audience, they might just be a
We're
bunch of
smarter than
bullshit.
you.
Well, it also but if the experts say this is how it's going and then the show is doing really well, then I guess the experts know what they're talking about. If they stopped
Right.
all that shit, it wouldn't affect. It would only improve the show, as a matter of
Right.
fact. So,
Right.
yeah. But then we go back to the episode, and what was the? Oh, what? But now I have to mention because you mentioned it. Stay
no.
tuned for the last 5 minutes. No shit, we're gonna probably be there. You fucking assholes.
That's how I feel about I mean, they didn't do it this time, but there was a lot of Bravo loves it to be continued. And I'm like,
yes.
I'm like, yeah, that's how franchise shows. That's how series shows works. We know it'll be continued. We know it'll be continued. What the fuck? And also, they'll be like, I mean, I don't know if there was a point in time where it's like every episode was like to be continued and there's no preview. I think there's spit on my microphone. I'm so excited. And then the next day, here's the first 7 minutes of the next episode. I'm like, what are y'all doing? I don't understand. Listen, I'll take it, but like what? I
don't understand that at all. And I wrestle with that too, because I think I don't want it spoiled. I want to sit there. I want to watch the show and however it's formatted and whatever they choose to open the show with. I have to say this season, it's very interesting because I think I talked with Lauren. Oh, Lauren sends her love, by the way. I talked with Lauren about how James and Allie are kind of Allie. What's that? Ether Opal. Yes, indeed.
Lauren, yeah.
Yeah. So Lauren sends her love. Ether does not. No, that's not true. That's not true. No, she's gonna unfollow
sorry,
me.
I've been looking at you, and then every now and then I like.
How can you not?
That?
I understand. I don't take it as a sign of disrespect. It's a great backdrop. It's a good backdrop to have.
No, like I'm saying, like I'm not looking at it constantly, and then every now and then I look back and I'm like, oh.
Well, that's the thing about TVs; they'll just pull your eyes.
Go ahead.
What was I saying? I can't even remember.
Lauren and
yes. So Lauren and I were talking about. Now I forgot what we were talking about. So that's okay. But she sends her love. That's what matters.
Previews and the 7 minutes and the to be continued and.
Well, I'll just throw in with
the
to be continued is one of my least favorite things because it's always so you're going to show like the tail end where nothing happens of this pool party or the pizza party where the big combustion already happened and now they're going to be like, hey, should we clear up the plates in the first minute of the episode? I know what I was going to talk about. I know what it is. We were talking about how Allie is now basically the narrator of the show, and I love it. She's the Greek chorus and the narrator because they start every episode, properly start. First, we have to see everyone brushing their teeth, feeding the dog, watering their plants because we have to know that they're living their lives and they get up in the morning.
They exist.
Yes, they exist and they get up and there happens to be a camera crew there when they get up. So there's that. In the bathroom, just in the bathroom.
I just think of like the influencers, like, here's my morning routine, and then they like wake up. It's like you got out of bed and hit record, like no judgment, but just whatever.
Yeah, like chill out, like cut out that part where you're just waking up. Like we figured you said it's the morning.
We know you woke up. Like we know you're alive.
Well, no, actually, it's being very meta. This is my morning routine. I hit record on my phone and then reenact waking
show
up.
Us, literally. Anyway,
so. No, it's good. We're passionate. We're full of fever, and we're doing the Lord's work. So, we do start again at James and Allie's place. But before we get there properly, we see Lala and a friend go into the fake liquor store. Is that what I get from that?
That was Lala's brother who his name is Easton, and he is one of the two like co-hosts on her podcast. And that was very weird to me because they didn't. Why did we see that if we
It never
never went
paid
back
off.
to it?
No, they
Like,
never paid off.
yeah, like why did you show that to us? Why? I don't understand. But yeah, that was her brother, and he's like a very, I don't want to talk about him because he has white boy dreads, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Ah,
But
gotcha. I didn't even retain
it
that.
wasn't in that episode.
Oh,
He
okay.
didn't have them yet. He had like normal curly hair or whatever. But I just was like, why? See, here's the other thing is that there were pictures and videos over, during filming that came out where she was like really excited that he was getting mic'd up, like Easton's gonna be on the show, that I just randomly remember seeing, and then I was like, is that it?
That's the
Was
whole
that
thing.
it? Like, what? I mean, I don't know. It's just there's just some stuff I'm like, you guys are not following through. Like, what the fuck was that?
Well,
But
especially
I
if they're
mean,
so
listen,
concerned about the storyline and like making sure people follow. What were we gonna say?
well, I don't want to go to the non-alcohol liquor store anyway, so it's fine. I don't want to see them shopping in the non-alcohol liquor store, so that's fine. But
Yeah,
it was
totally
weird
fine.
to point it out. Because
Exactly.
imagine how interesting it would be to see somebody shopping in a liquor store. That's not entertaining. Nobody,
Nobody, and
nobody.
also the only thing that it made me think is, wait a second. I know that there's no alcohol booze, which I think is a weird thing. I'm not a drinker. I used to be. I don't ever want to taste
Right?
gin.
Why
I
do
don't.
you? Why? I don't know. I don't know.
But the
I don't
second
know.
question there is, how in Los Angeles can a store like that exist and stay open? Because is there that many are there that many people rather who are buying that much alcohol
It's
free
probably like
booze?
the only place. Well, and the thing, like when they're talking about the finale party with Kyle Chan's whiskey launch,
Yes.
when Tom Sandoval at this point was, well, he never actually used the word sober. He just was not drinking, which I clocked because people would say, how long have you been sober? And his response would be, well, I haven't drank in X months. Like he never called himself sober. And then he went on the
Vial
two teas
files.
and
Oh,
well,
sorry.
first he went on two teas and a pod, and they said, like, do you plan on like being sober for the rest of your life? He was like, oh, no, of course not. And then we see in the season, he's like, yeah, I just, I thought me and Rachel could have our first drink together. Like none of it was ever about trying to actually change as a person or whatever. And then whatever the fuck he was on when he went on Vile Falls, I don't know. But when Kyle Chan was his first guest on his podcast, whenever he did the podcast, Everybody Loves Tom. He was still not drinking at that point, and Kyle Chan had brought a non-alcoholic whiskey. So I don't know. There's just I mean, if you know that you're not going to see that through, then like why make it something that people will hold you accountable for? If you already know that you're not going
Yeah.
to see it through. I can understand saying like I'm taking a break. I'm not drinking for a while, but to be like, yeah, I'm not drinking. Like, yeah, take a water. Let's get water shots. Like, you don't mean it. And just say you're not drinking. I'll never forget in the back alley of Sir, though. Thank God there's at least one scene in the alley of Sir when he brought Sheena, like, oh, I brought you vodka soda because I know you like those. She's like, actually, I'm sober 3 weeks today. He was like, yeah, I had a feeling you weren't drinking. She's like, yeah, 3 weeks today. Yeah, I'm not drinking either. And I'm like, what do you
And
guys?
everyone was on this sober train. And I like how Schwartz was saying, like,
Oh,
I'm
sober,
semi-sober curious. I like that a lot. Yeah. Well, it was sober
but
curious, then it
I
became
really
semi-sober.
semi-sober curious journey, but I really prefer to binge. I really prefer binging.
Yeah.
I prefer to binge drinking and binge sobriety.
Well,
So,
yeah, binge sobriety was great. Great phrase. And also he said, it's a good thing to like fall apart once in a while. That's a great expression. He's used it many times. We have fallen apart together, and it's a good time. However, I also thought it was a little much that he had to like sort of apologize for ordering a drink because he's with two sober people at that. Because
Oh, well, did he?
that'd
When
be
did he say?
self-imposed, I think. He went to lunch with Lala and James.
The one where Tom Sandoval was talking about the 500 laxative pills. That
Oh,
one.
yes, that's right, because Sandoval is surprisingly late to that. And did we talk about this? Why was there 500 laxatives in the house to begin with? Who
I
is getting
think that
500?
I think we talked about it in the redacted
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
But
The lawyers have
it's like,
cleared it, so you can go ahead.
why is that the thing? How is that just sliding through the conversation? Why the fuck do you have 500 laxative pills? Like, or pills, 500 laxatives, period. Like
Yeah.
in a package. Like, why do you have that? Why do you have that much? You would have to like seek out that amount in order to that's like
Yes.
wholesale shit. That's not
Yes, it
retail
is.
level laxative buying. Like, what are you doing? And it's not because you're stopped up. Like, it's because, well, I don't want to speculate about anybody's disordered anything, but that. Why do you have them?
So you're saying that's what comes to mind for you when you hear something about that?
Well, it's like, why? Yeah, why do you have 500? I looked up, I was like, how many do they actually sell? And I looked up on like Walgreens.com or something like the next day, like bulk laxatives. And it was like 250. So we would have had to buy more. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to seek out that amount.
Yes, and even if you bought two packages of 250, that's why are you bringing 500 into the house? What do you need? What's so desperate?
Right?
What's going on? Go to a doctor. And also, so the dog ate that. Okay, like that's in the context of the whole thing. It's not great, whatever they're talking about. But a dog eating something that is ostensibly digestible or consumable, rather, not digestible. Okay, that's not as crazy as you buying them. Why?
Well, right, and it's like, okay, well, the dog isn't like making the decisions about your home and your belongings and your life. Like, you have to supply the dog with the thing and put it in an accessible place, which, and I don't want to talk about the skewers. I'm not getting into the chicken satay. Maya wasn't supposed to be in her room anyway, so it's like, if she closed the door, I don't listen. That's Ariana is essentially like, her apartment is her bedroom now at that point. So it's like, fuck, goddamn, sorry, she left the container there, whatever. That's not, she shut the door and left knowing that the dog wasn't in there. And so even if the point is negligence. It's not that Tom was like, here, Maya, go eat her takeout, whatever. It's that he didn't even think, like, where is the dog and what's the dog up to and whatever. Like, that's the problem. Anyway, just like the laxatives, like, why is nobody saying, wait? Literally no one said, at least not in the episode, wait, why do you have that many laxatives?
I know. I'm hoping it comes up on the reunion. Maybe that's what everyone's talking about with breaking the fourth wall.
We've never done this before. We've never talked about human constipation. We have never done this before.
Yeah, and then Sheena makes an admission, and then, by the way, I buy fiber gummies. They come in a jar of like, I don't know how many's in there, but it's like 70, 80. I don't know. I accidentally bought two, because on Amazon sometimes you add the cart and you've already added the cart. And when it showed up, I said, "Oh, I guess I'm set for a while now." And or it's just karma coming back at me for wearing the Charles McMansion shirt.
I talked about, listen, everybody poops. You should check out the book for kids. Because I talked about this the other day, not you, just the universal you. But I talked about this the other day when I was like, I have grouped the types of tears that Sandoval cries into like 4 groups. And I was
4
like,
tiers of tears?
Tears of, oh, I didn't even think of that. God damn it. I used to write puns as like my job, and I didn't even think of that. Oh, hold on, I need to write it down because I'm not gonna.
Excellent, good.
But one of them, the fourth and final tier of tears, is the turtle, where he turtles out a tear. And the reason I say turtling is, well, because it looks like a turtle sticking its head out of the shell, like an actual human turtle. I don't want to talk about Joe / Kaylee, whatever's turtle.
And you're not talking about Turtle, the character based on Randall
No.
Emmett in real life. No.
No. I'm talking about I was about to say the human turtle, but the actual amphibian or reptile, whatever turtle
a turtle. Like
a turtle. Like
a traditional turtle.
A traditional turtle. When it sticks its head out of its shell, it's like barely poking out, right?
Yeah.
And there is a bodily function that maybe sometimes 500 laxatives would help, where it's like there's a turtle starting to come out of the shell, and you're like, no, not right now. And but it's like, I want to get out. And so when Tom cries, so when Tom like really puts it on, he's like turtling out the tears, and I just have always called it like he turtled out a tear. He's turtling it out. It's like his like this is my moment. Action, like, and then he like really pushes them out. The other ones are he does the hand wipe, the hyperventilate, the
What about this one? Is this part of the hyperventilate when he does this?
No, that's a hand. Oh. Okay, so he has a hand wipe, the hide and seek, the hyperventilate, and the turtle.
hide and seek.
So he usually combines the hand wipe and the hide and seek, or the hyperventilate and the hide and seek.
Yeah.
Like at Lisa's, he was like, and then he did the hide and seek. The hand wipe, because this is what's so fast. Like he'll be like, when there's nothing on his face, right? But when he's crying, he'll sit there with like a soaking wet face, not even making an attempt to like even pat himself off, because he wants you to know he's really crying. But when he's not crying, he wants you to think he's crying. So then he's like, wipe. It's the most bizarre thing, but I have examples for all of them. You can watch on my accounts.
Yes, indeed. And I have no doubt, and I'm sure that for the wet face, the wet look that you're talking about, you might possibly have used that interaction with Kristen, season 3 or 4.
Absolutely, I did.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, and that one is like, he's like,
I thought we'd be together forever. Am I quoting that right? Because I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
Is that what he says? Okay.
He says, there were times, Kristen, where I really thought you and I would be together forever. I did. I really did. I did want to do this. It's been really hard for me.
And they're holding hands.
This has been really hard. And then Kristen reaches over to wipe his face, and he he recoils, and he's like, he's like,
no, you're screwing up my bit. Don't
touch, because she's like, this is how I know you still love me, which basically she says in her confessional. But he's like, this has been really hard for me. It really has. I mean it. I want you to be happy, Kristen. I really do. And like, I believe that he is producing tears, but it's just, again, my analysis.
Okay, wait, I have a question. And this is a Phil Donahue angle, from journalism. So then this beggars the question: if that was performative and he got the actor cry in and then flooded the face, how then is he not able to, or not choosing to do that in these other tiers of tears?
Well, listen, I think, I don't know. I don't believe that he's incapable of crying. Like, I cry really. Like, sometimes I'll just be in a conversation with somebody and something will make me emotional, and I'll be like, and they're like, oh no. I'm like, it's okay. It's just a thing that happens. It'll be over really quick. Like, it's just a thing that happens and it'll go away. Like, I'm not familiar with the actor, like, really trying to make yourself cry. So I don't know what that feeling is like, but I don't think, see, he's not a skilled actor, So sometimes he can do it, and sometimes
hey, wait a second.
He
was in a Puppet Master movie, so watch yourself.
And And he was also in a Peter production where he was some kind of space commander.
And when they were shooting with the green screen and sunlight.
Yeah.
I don't. By the way, YouTubers, I don't recommend that. I just listened. I actually just re-reviewed an old episode of of this show when it was around that time of the episode, and I think Ariana and Sandoval were on, and we're talking about that. And I said, "Did that actually work? I mean, how did that? What was that like?" And so we talked for 10 minutes about being, I think, hungover, and then going to that.
Yeah, he
so,
was like, Commander.
yes, that's right, Commander. Yeah, not
that was
easy
his
to keep.
His streak era, his like
Streak
gray
era.
his silver extension, the one silver extension, which
That's right. That's right.
no
what a
one's
time
ever
that was.
explained.
Well, no, he just wanted to. I think I actually okay. There's an episode 2 of Pump Rules podcast where he came on. No, he came on because after there was the original Pumped and then Pump Rules podcast. So then he came on, and then he had a friend come over who braided his hair during the episode.
Oh my god, like JoJo Siwa on Special Forces.
Yeah, I just wish we were shooting video back then. It would have been great.
Oh my god, I don't want to talk about JoJo Siwa. I wish I didn't.
Well, we're going to move on. We're going to move right along
We're moving on.
We're moving along to meeting Daniel on the phone. Very nice. I know it's maybe after the, who knows. But then we really get started at James and Allie's house because Jax is coming over to overdub some stuff on James's hot new track.
Listen, you know what? For all the same reasons that like Sheena bugs me, Jax bugs me, there's equal amounts of like, man, you deliver. You give us TV. You give us TV, and we thank you for that.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
There's one thing Sheena Shea and Jax Taylor know how to do, no matter how fucking annoying they are bringing it. They clock in, and I appreciate it, even though I don't sometimes.
Well, it's just like how Brock, what I said before, him telling women how to behave and what
Brock's
to do.
trying to clock in. He's trying to clock in.
He is. And look, I dig that because of what you just said, but I also am annoyed in the moment. So that's great TV. It's like when my mom used to say about Housewives or Vanderpump Rules, I'm just getting so fed up with it. And I go, oh, so you have a new favorite show. You have a new favorite show and you can't wait for the next episode. She's like, what do you mean? I said, that's what you say when it's your favorite show.
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I remember whenever the first Survivor came out, I remember watching it with my dad, and we have like a bond over reality TV, and he still will be like, oh, all I do is yell at each other. But then he'll text, like, we will literally, like, he'll get the joke if I say, like, what did I say? There was something I said that was a word that ended in the word I, like, that was like pepperoni. And he was like, Giovanni. Like he gets like housewives jokes and Vanderpump, like and I love that, but he'll still be like, all they do is fight, and it's just like too much to watch sometimes. I'm like, but you're gonna fucking watch. You're gonna watch, and you know you have it like on your DVR because you still have a DVR, I bet. Like you're gonna watch. Oh, actually, if I like went back 2 screens, you would see my Peacock profile that I added for him. He's on my Peacock because he wants to watch it.
He's oh, that's great. Yeah, and so this is bizarre. My mom, who was a devout follower of Housewives, before I watched it, she said you should watch the show, and I was like, I don't know. It's like I thought it was something like selling.
Really? She your way into
She's
Bravo?
my gateway. She's my gateway.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
But here's the weird turnabout. So she was into the show. She was into Vanderpump Rules when they came to visit me in L.A. Took him to Villa Blanca. And the thing, Ariana bought my mom a candle. It was like a whole beautiful thing. And it was really Ariana's lovely.
Never bought me a candle.
She didn't buy me one. She bought Lydia one. Okay, she bought Lydia a candle.
Okay.
So, anyways, there you go, Ariana. Love you. I know maybe we won't talk again because of the shirt incident. I understand. So,
I swear to God, if she unfollows me because I'm talking to you, I will never speak to you again.
I know we're gonna have heavy beef. No, I think it's fine.
I think we'll be fine. It'll be
we'll
okay.
be fine. Yes, we'll be okay. Because I don't think also she's like, "What's Craig's next episode?" Oh,
yeah, I don't think she's like paying attention to like what I'm doing.
Well, I think she's paying attention to what you're doing. I have a feeling, but if you unfollow someone, you don't want to pay attention to what they're doing. So. No, remember, the funniest thing is, do you remember when we taped? I said, no, I'm sure she's following you. I went and I looked it up, showed it to the video that doesn't exist. And then I wonder if when I held it up, if I was already unfollowed. That would be very funny. Because when I looked it up, when I found out, I was looking up someone's account who I know she follows. It's like a Vander or something account. But I didn't get there because I went, oh, what? And so anyway. But with Brock's thing on Shenanigans, the recent episode, thank you, Vanderpod Recaps, for this. I did not hear it, but I read it. He talks about, I can kind of see how that could come across that way. I didn't mean it as such. So I thought, okay, that's a reflective attitude. But back to the Jax and the overdubbing. I wish they would show that, but I guess they're waiting for a new Pump collection, or what was the name of that? Pump Sessions, the new Pump Sessions album. Pump Sessions
album. Pump Sessions. You haven't asked me once about the album in this reunion. Are you? You haven't asked me what. You haven't asked me once about the album. Anyway.
Him and I had a funny confusion about his album. I'll send you the episode. It's on the feed. But the first time Sandoval brokered peace between this camp and Kennedy. So Camp Kennedy. Or Casa Kennedy. Casa Kennedy.
Casa Kennedy. Casa Kennedy. Oh, that was amazing. Listen, God.
James is the best.
James also really makes good. Man, my compilations of James are like the most fun to make. People love them. I love making them because I'm just I'm laughing hysterically the whole time that I'm cutting these videos. Like, I will spend whatever time goes into these videos or appear to take forever because they do, because I'm sitting there being like, oh, play that again, put it in slow-mo, like I'm laughing. So, but Casa Kennedy. I had to buy
Casa Kennedy.
Casa Kennedy. I had to buy 12 towels. Like, what?
I had to go to Target and Best Buy. But welcome to Casa Kennedy. Casa Kennedy. I want to go to that restaurant. Ken and Lisa, wake up.
I want to go to Casa Kennedy. Well, no, Ken's back in the back sleeping somewhere.
Well, you know what it is? He can't be out there pounding the pavement all the time.
Lisa said. Stop! He's gonna get. Lisa, stop!
He might knock your spark out.
He's okay.
Great B-roll. Great B-roll. They did the flashback we all love. This is the greatest. So it's the greatest. But this flashback, we always need this every couple episodes, but we don't get it all the time. Why don't you go make some more cosmopolitan? Oh, yeah, right. Pumptinis. What does he say first? Make more cosmopolitans? How did I forget that? I'm going to get a demerit.
Says,
oh no,
we need to get more cosmopolitans.
Yeah, and then he Pumptini. Yeah, it's the greatest. It's the greatest. I'm glad we got to see it again. Also, the little pre-confab conference. That's what happens. We hurt ourselves with the passion. It's a risk, but we got to take it. The pre-Jax Lisa conference, she's asking James, what is it? What, did he just want to be here again? He's like, yeah, I guess Jax just wants to be here again. Again, just cut through the bullshit and cut to the good stuff and stop cutting out other stuff that we see sometimes in flashbacks, like Katie's paint and sip at home date. Why did we not see that whole thing?
Well, we saw a good amount of it, but it was just, I don't think it was it was like she was like, all it showed mostly was that the girl Tori was like, oh, Bob Ross was alive when video cameras existed. And it was like, I don't think.
No, but like, there's a certain perversity to like, I would like to see the whole drawn out awkwardness of the whole thing. Like if there was an extras.
Did they make out again? Did they like,
right.
Or just like, so what do you want to do next? Okay.
Yeah. If there would be like a web available entire date edit of just like at least 15 minutes, I would watch that.
No, this show needs to be filmed like Summer House, which is there's
Yes.
100 what is the word?
Robot cameras
I
or stationary
Yeah,
cameras or whatever in the
stationary. Like
walls.
there's just
Yeah.
100 like built-in cameras everywhere. Which at some point, I mean, Summer House last night they showed me more than anybody needed to see. But but like I want a Big Brother fee to these people. You know what? And if that makes me weird, then fine.
Hey,
Then
so
I'm
be it.
weird. What? Oh wait, what am I? That sound reminds me of. Oh, Stassi. When she was dressed as Marie Antoinette or whatever, and they were at the extra Tom Sandoval's birthday party that was themed as like being the most extra version of yourself. And she was like, so what if
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
want to work with my friends? If that makes me selfish, then fine. I'm selfish. So that just, I'm telling you, it's like my brain is filled with like Vanderpump worms. Like I can't even exist.
Lisa's actually opening Vanderpump Worms soon in the
Oh my
Valley. I
God.
think she's trying to, get another business in there.
I
And
can't.
because you can only get a good dog sitter from Vanderpump Dogs. I do like the parallels of Sheena and James and their concurrent anxieties or parallel anxieties. I did think it was rather interesting to see James get so worked up when the ladies are trying to say it's going to be fine, and also you can't really put Allie behind Graham Cracker, or sorry, Hippie, in the priority
Yeah.
list. Although I gotta say, Lala, it's
Uh,
like you can't ever let the man come first. How about? Well, no, I mean literally coming first. No, that's not good. But everyone should know that, especially guys. If you're watching, listening, whatever, take
I
note of
was
that.
waiting for that to like for Bravo to put as any kind of like like jokey music
Ding
cue
dong
in for
dong
that to be
bong.
an innuendo where I was like, oh, oh, okay. Like, are we supposed to, that's not
Because I
supposed to be
didn't
sexual?
even think. I thought she was serious about who in the priority list of the relationship. So maybe she was making a joke, and I didn't even
Well,
clock it. I
no,
don't.
I think she was serious, but it was but maybe she was like, I just was like, why would you really? I don't know. I,
No,
I
I
felt
was
like that
thrown
was like
too
a
because
double entendre. And, but yeah, I mean,
she was
I
serious. She
think
was, and that's why
that,
it registered to me as noxious because
right.
ideally, like Ada and I like to think of both of us at the same level of priority.
Yeah,
And
that fight went somewhere it didn't need to go. Like, I didn't like that scene at all. It really bothered me, honestly. Like, I really didn't like it. Like, James didn't compare it to having, I just, I don't know. It just went like left and it didn't need to. And you're like pushing him. And it hadn't, in my view, like the wedding and the dog and Allie and like this whole like deep analysis of their relationship and who's more important is like not even, I wouldn't even have gone there. I'd be like, I mean, I don't know. I feel equal anxiety with my dog and who's going to watch him. And I have like one person who I basically trust, like the anxiety of leaving your dog and like James thought he would never see this dog again. And then
yeah,
all of a sudden he has this dog back in his life. And especially if like they're trying to work with him on behavioral issues and like if there is some other person who like isn't familiar with the situation and with that dog could be like he tried to bite me and then by the time James comes home dog gone again, like, but also he never said, he was only trying to say like, oh, how many nannies have you gotten? Like he wasn't saying like this is more important than your human child. Like it just I just think they took it, they're like, well, we have kids and that's my kid and don't you dare like bring up my kid. And it just was like just hold on. I
well,
don't
look, if there's
know.
something on the table that Lala can get indignant about, she's gonna eat that snack.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you were about to say the word snatch. And I was like, no,
Well, she has eaten snatch. We heard about
I
that,
don't want,
and
no, if
you
I
did.
hear
You did it. You did it.
if I hear the word cookie, she's ruined cookies for me. But I support that. It's just, I need her to stop saying that word.
Do I have to
Anyway,
redact? I'll have to bleep the word I just
no,
said. That
it's
rhymes
fine.
with batch. I think. Yeah.
No, no,
You said it
that was my
first, and
fault.
then I.
I know
You know.
that's my fault.
Okay, fair
Anyway,
enough. Legally, we're covered now. Okay. Phew.
I just felt like that. I mean, and then she was making fun of him at the end. She was like, "Oh, we made you upset." Like I just felt like
No, I don't like that either. Like,
I didn't like
it's
it. The whole
because
thing, I didn't like it.
he's like seriously upset. It's
He's
like
an
when they brought up
emotional guy.
he
He
is, and
cries
that's
a lot.
and when we
Let him.
realized that sometime during season 5 through 7, I don't know exactly when, that his bullish, obnoxious behavior was partly informed by the fact that he was
Mm-hmm.
bullied heavily as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. It's just like Sheena's previous, one could call wishy-washiness or whatever. Oh, she has OCD. Oh, okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
that, and not dismissing it in the way that Sandoval said, in the way he said it. But it's,
Oh, it makes sense that she has OCD now.
well,
Like,
like, okay.
that's not how that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but in terms of relational, now they say it's postpartum OCD, but I think OCD, like when she talks about the intrusive thoughts and stuff, that
Mm-hmm.
is what would lead a person to be a little spongy or wishy-washy with
Yeah.
the friend stuff. Um,
Well, I mean, yeah, and you and I talked like I think at great length in the redacted version of like mental
yes,
health
yeah,
issues and stuff like that, and
we
so
we
I'm
both
not here
enjoy
to.
them.
We both love them. Um, so like I'm not here to say she is or isn't
Oh
whatever,
no, she see
but but
she says she has it. So
well,
when she describes the basically thought loops and rumination as a bipolar
mm-hmm,
person, I go, "Oh, okay, like I understand that. I
yeah,
understand the rumination stuff because it can really haunt you and everything." And also at that party in the outside,
yeah, yeah.
she
The
talks about the
like
thing where
I think of yeah.
she worries about
All
Brock and Lala and all that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All I was gonna say, I don't think any of that is unreasonable. I think all I was gonna say is like when she was talking about Zoloft.
Oh, sorry. It was like, "How dare
No,
you?" No.
that's okay. No, it was the only thing that because again, in our redacted podcast, I was like, I think that I like being open about medication that like
Yes.
I'm on and my followers sometimes in my like live stream in my chat will like talk to each other about it because it's like not something that's shameful. I think it's something is helping you. Great. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how people exist without like, but that's just me. But so for me, so that kind of like shame or misinterpretation or misinformation about psychological drugs prescribed by a psychologist, like I don't like when there's like stigma or
Same.
misinfo or whatever. And so for me, when she's being really open about her postpartum OCD and obsessive thoughts and things like that. And then she's talking to, I think it was Brittany, like Brittany
Yeah.
came in for
Oh,
the
Brittany,
scene
you
and
mean Brittany who had the lower third
Brittany
card that said
Cartwright. Yeah.
Brittany, Sheena's friend.
Oh, what? Oh,
Brittany,
so what is,
Sheena's friend. Yeah.
ugh. So, but she was like, I was on Zoloft for a month and then I stopped and then I was tired and, listen, not no medicine affects anybody the same exact way as the next person, but like
Yeah.
certain medications take a long time to not a lot, no, like forever, but like sometimes it could take like 8 weeks or 12 weeks to like
Yeah.
really have an impact on the way you're regulating yourself and stuff. So to just like have this person on this show be like, well, I was on this for a month and then I was and then I didn't like it. And then I was tired. I'm like, well, who's advising her? But also, we shouldn't be saying, like, I've been on Zoloft 6. It's changed my life for the better. I mean, I'm still, but like, I'm able to regulate. I'm able to live my life in a much more manageable way. And I don't know. It just
Oh wait,
bothered
so
me.
I know exactly what you mean. It's two things. What I felt was, oh no, don't just go off of it. Talk to your doctor and see what they
Right? Who's
recommend for something
advising her?
else. That's
Mm-hmm.
because the problem is, and I've seen this so many times in all aspects of life, people, they get a diagnosis. Now, it's a difficult thing to actually say, okay, I need to get something checked out. So once you
Yeah.
pass that threshold, I always hope
Mm-hmm.
that people continue to explore possibilities, avenues,
Yeah.
etc. And once someone says, well, I was on it, I didn't feel good, so I stopped. two things. If you're on a lot of the SSRIs, or
Mhm.
what I take, Lamictal or lamotrigine
Mhm.
for my bipolar, if you just stop taking it, you are risking a lot of potential bad things. Sometimes
Mhm.
strokes, sometimes a lot of stuff. Like you have to tape with
You
lamotrigine.
have to
You
wean off of some of these things. They
oh
put
yeah,
so
you do.
much, they
Yeah,
control your brain chemistry. So, not control, but there's so much, they have such an impact,
you
like
can't just cut
on
it
so many.
off.
Yeah.
So
I just,
also with and then
yeah.
with that as well, I don't want to combine the two things if there's not a link here. But she said something
Mm-hmm.
about with the medication she wasn't going to drink, and so when I
Mm-hmm.
saw her at the Hotel Ziggy Part Two, I thought, oh, she's ripped, but and which was great. I mean, she was very entertaining, but I thought,
You,
is she not on her medication? I wonder.
well,
And
didn't she say, okay, because I remember in the Sir Alley thing, she was like, she was like, I've been sober for 3 weeks today or whatever. She's like, I'm not drinking since I've been on my Zoloft, which I've been on it for so many years now that it's like I'll drink sometimes and sometimes I don't, but I'm not advocating like go get shit faced with your pop your rail a line of your Zoloft. Like that's not how that works. And it can have a big
because that's not
impact
how
with
you take it, by the way. You have to boof
no,
it.
that's not how you take it, but also you can but also like, do anything you do it under proper medical supervision. But she at Hotel Ziggy, I feel like she said like this is the first time I haven't drank since I've been on Zoloft, and maybe I interpreted that unless she said it and I'm just not remembering correctly, like as she had stopped taking it by that point. I don't know. But again, like these people, this group of people to not consume alcohol for 3 weeks is like, or even 4 days. I remember Sandoval when he went on Howie
Hootie
Mandel's
Poodle, yeah.
podcast. He was like, "Yeah, I haven't drank in 4 days,"
And
and
he had the
like,
giant coffee mug. He had the giant soup-sized coffee mug.
listen, if 4 days I'm not trying to discount if that's a real challenge for you and it's day by day. Like, I'm not here to discount that. However, like with him specifically, I mean, he was making it sound like he hasn't been sober a day in his life since for the last 10 years
Well, he
or
said something to
something.
that effect. He actually said, I don't know if it was 10 years, but
It and that's again, I don't want to wade into territory that's like, if I don't know for a fact, I'm not here to speculate about like this or that, or you're exaggerating this or that. It's just,
no, he
again,
said he
all
did say something to that effect. So
yeah, he was
based
like, I
on
was
that,
drinking every day. I was either at the gym or I was drinking. If I wasn't working out, I was drinking. If I wasn't drinking, I was working out. That sounds like I don't even like either one of those really. So it sounds awful. But but just then to hear him say in the confessional, I know we were talking about Sheena, but again, just to hear him like look at the camera and those confessionals and say like, I thought Rachel and I could have our first drink together, and
the
I'm
important things
supporting
in
her by
life.
not drinking. It's like I thought
Well, it brings
it just
into
was disappointing.
it brings into
That's
sharp focus the whole like relationship with America, well, and other Western countries with alcohol. But back
mm,
to the medication thing. Ideally, I hope that Sheena talks to her doctor and gets something else, because
yeah.
this is what I was going to say. Lamotrigine can make me
Sorry.
tired too. No, 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 no. You didn't do anything bad. Yeah, no, that's I like that. I like the discursive conversation. It's all good stuff. Um,
Yeah.
the lamotrigine makes me sleepy sometimes,
Hmm.
but like I woke up in the middle of the night when it was time to take it, and I took it and I went, oh, good, because I'll take it, I'll get a little sleepy, and then I can just use that to my advantage because I didn't sleep enough,
Hmm.
so on and so forth. But you just sort of get used to the ins and outs of certain things. And,
Hmm.
um, and look, I get it. You get tired, it's freaky. Talk to your doctor. But
Yeah.
um,
She
I
said
was
she
having,
stopped taking it and then she was tired. So I was like, okay, well, that's probably a symptom of like randomly going off. Never mind. I
oh,
don't
I know.
want to
I
skip.
thought she said. I thought she said it was making me tired. It was making me tired, and I have stuff to do, so I stopped taking it. That's what I
Oh, I don't.
swear.
Maybe both. Honestly, I just know that I really wish things like that. I mean, well, Bravo is playing fast and loose with a lot of mental health stuff. So
Well, that's true. That's
I
true.
can't. There's a lot of problems.
I think everyone should go to Arizona for 3 to 4 months. And then sue everybody afterwards. That'll help you. Oh, okay. Here's something that almost affected my mental health in a negative way.
Okay.
Katie and Schwartz meet for lunch at Mel's Diner. Great, cute. They order vegetarian based stuff at Mel's Diner. Like, what are you doing?
Okay.
There's like
I also was like, are they at Mel's? Who goes to who? Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I was really like, who goes to Mel's at like in the middle of the day? Like that just seems like a drunken novelty place to me. I don't know. I'm so sorry. No offense to Mel's. I've only been there. I was sober, but it was like at night and we were randomly like in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard. What it just was weird. And then you're like, can I have a veggie omelet and then a milkshake? Like maybe
I know.
Go off, but whatever. But I mean, but they have, they have really good chemistry as a divorced couple.
They do. I'm glad they're getting to a place where they could be friendly again and friends because they do have a nice rapport back at the other pool party. That was really great once they got over the whole Max hurdle, which, by the way, and that whole thing, we may have talked about it in the redacted. I don't know. Of course, it's ancient history now. But what's important is that the Max shaming of it all should have been on Max and none on her.
Yeah.
None on her at all. And then the thing about Brock in that whole equation was him drawing a parallel. I know he was maybe just instigating, but anyone who thought that was equivalent,
like
even on the after show, especially, he's like, maybe I don't really, and then people were bothered that he wasn't bothered, and I just thought, oh, this heteronormative stuff is bleh.
Well, yeah, and even Schwartz is still like, oh God, there's so much about that episode where the water tasting episode.
Oh, that was a humdinger. Yeah, I think is that the one we covered and then lost? Is that the one?
Maybe. I think maybe it was the Max thing because I remember talking to you about how much I loved Katie's reaction, which was like,
yes.
and why are you talking about this?
Yes.
But the one where they were outside and Ariana was screaming at Tom inside the house and being like, and like that iconic like moment or whatever, and they're outside like with no fucking clue what's going on in there. But
wait,
Schwartz,
and then Tom wait, sorry, I don't want to step. If you're going to say what I think I was going to say,
well, I just love that Schwartz brought it up to Katie by saying like, you dirty dog, and then it went from there, and I just like, anyway, I love that.
That's why I didn't want to cut you off. And also when she's like, look at what you're wearing, look at what you're wearing. That was great. And you know what? They're both right. They were both right.
That jean jacket, like, that's not serving. And she's like, well, what is that terry cloth? You're not serving. Like, it just... Oh, and then they did it at Mel's. Like, my hair glow up. And like, oh, you had a hair glow up too? Yeah, look at my hair. Like, their sexual tension, it's like way more than I've ever seen when they were together, to be quite honest.
You know what it is? It's the veggie omelets. But by the way, if you go to Mel's, even if you're sober, even if it's the middle of the day,
don't order a veggie omelet.
No,
get a cheeseburger.
Get a cheeseburger, whatever the fucking
cheeseburger, fries,
French
and a
dip.
Milkshake. Like what?
Yes,
yes. What are you doing eating a veggie omelet?
I mean, or a scrambled egg and sausage, something of that nature, and a pancake on the side. Don't go. There's a lot of places in LA to get vegetarian stuff.
Well. And see, that's what was confusing for me about Mel, is because they never showed. I'm really like, I need to talk about Mel because they never showed like a sign or the guy, outside the sign for Mel's the guy like with the hat or whatever, and it's like Mel's driving neon light. I could only piece together that it was Mel's because of the reflection of the sticker in the window or whatever behind one
they
of
showed
them.
some establishing.
I was like, does that say Mel's? But I feel like they didn't have if they had an establishing shot, I don't recall.
No, it might be the same thing you're describing. And then
so I was like, why would they be, if they're not making it a point to be like, they're at Mel's. Why the fuck are they at Mel's?
Well, but don't they say that there's a confessional or something? Or they in the moment they say, Mel's, wow, it's been ages since I've been at Mel's.
Oh, maybe. Oh, no. Oh, I was gonna.
Maybe the confessional. Look, it's a lot to keep in your mind. You know what I mean?
Did you?
It is.
I don't know if. Do you watch Summer House ever? Or
No,
not
the only
really?
one I've ever seen is the one where Stassi apparently looked like
The
Steve Jobs.
crossover.
Yeah.
Oh, in the white turtleneck bathing suit. Yeah. Well, last night they had a whole scene that they filmed inside of an Old Navy, which is like nowhere any of these girls would shop. And it was
Right.
very like, we're at Old Navy. And I'm thinking of the other thing on Vanderpump that they did, which funny enough was the water tasting episode. But then I remember that it's been brought up several times before, which is that Sheena and Smirnoff. Like,
Yes.
she came into the water tasting and Schwartz was like, what is that? Is that a bottle of Smirnoff? What do you bring, Smirnoff? And she's like, yeah, Smirnoff pink lemonade tastes really good with sparkling water. It's like, well, what? Okay. It just,
I love that. Get your bag. I remember we had communicated about something, Sheena and I, and it was right after I saw some IG live or something. There was a still someone had captured from her IG live, and she was talking like much like this, and then right here is a Smirnoff bottle. And I just showed her and I said, I love that, by the way. Oh, no, it was just independent. I just said, hey, I just saw this thing. I love this. Like, get your bag. Good for you.
Yeah.
And I do love that. And also, Ada and I, so we both don't drink. And a friend of hers gave her such an incredibly unthoughtful gift. It was a fanny pack.
Smirnoff pink lemonade?
No, worse, because at least that you could like bring to a party. This is a fanny pack that has a huge
Did it have,
Smirnoff
like, a
logo on the
straw?
side.
Oh, I was like, was it a wine purse with like the built-in straw and the like whatever that bag?
Yeah, the
is,
colonoscopy
like
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the catheter. I
Where you
wouldn't
put
mind one of those hats. You know, with the hats with the multiple cans on it. But I need one that would fit these, and then it would be dangerous because what if I fell over and smash, crash, bang?
So
And
what
speaking
if
of
I
liquids,
fell
I have to
over?
pee. Do you want to take a little break ski?
I would love to.
Find us on Instagram and Twitter at PumpRulesPod, or go to PumpRulesPodcast.com for more information. Email PumpRulesPodcast@gmail.com and follow on Facebook at Facebook.com/PumpRulesPodcast. Thanks for listening and see you next time.